Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, June 28th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. Perfect. Looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in. As people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity for this morning. As you guys know, Biden is speaking, or sorry, not Biden. Powell is speaking at 7:30, which is like right now. So, it's going to be right now on market open. So you just want to be a little careful with entries today. Because there's going to be a lot of uncertainty with price movements. I'm going to go here to the liquidity chart. Start marking liquidity over here. Nice. I got this active trade running over here for IG. You can see I'm up 1,114 right now. Blasted right through. I did the same thing. The marked up liquidity on these Forex pairs, kind of played around with it. I forgot who I was talking to somebody about it. I think Barty. Barty took a different trade, and I took basically liquidity on my GU there. Played out perfect. Move my stop loss and profit, close it out, I guess. Let me go ahead and start marking this up right here before market open. So let me just mark this up real quick. Morning, Maria. Morning, C-Soup. Morning, CJ. Morning, Karen. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Casey. Morning, everybody. All right, so let's keep marking up liquidity over here real quick. I'm just going to mark up the close ones because I mean, price might move today since Powell is speaking, but we'll see. I don't think it's gonna move that much. I mean, it'll move, but I don't know how much it'll really move. So we'll see. Hey Nick, morning. Morning, Jermaine. Morning, Pablo. Morning, everybody. Trying to get these knocked out real quick, guys, before market open. So the problem with these other liquidity zones or liquidity areas is that they're like very close to price right now. So I don't know if I'm going to have to make some adjustments here because they might disappear on market open, of course. as it establishes new high lows there. So I'll have to keep an eye out on these ones that are really close. I mean, they might line up with the lower high lows, but I'm marking them up and price is just going sideways and ranging right now, which is not exactly what we would like. To see. Like we kind of want these to be spread out. They're like way too close to each other. This price hasn't really moved much overnight. But I'll leave it as is for now. All right, so those are pretty much the 1 hour liquidity. All the lower time frames over here, I'm just gonna go ahead and mark them. I'm not gonna put a time on them because they're kind of irrelevant. I mean, they're not irrelevant, but they're not as strong. So 30-minute. 15 and 10. All right, looks good. So we got a really close level of liquidity right here, which is a 1 hour liquidity. I'm assuming this is probably gonna get hit first personally because I think price will probably drop before it goes up when Powell speaks. I mean, we'll see. So the range right here looks kind of wide. 300 pips is kind of a far move. So if I was to take this right here, I probably would only take it for like maybe 100 pips, not the full 300 just yet, because the range is just wide. You can see the movement right here is very slow, and typically you want it to, liquidity just got hit right there. So unfortunately, I took a sell there actually, so I actually made a profit on that trade. I was in a different trade. I was applying one of my old scalping strategies, and then a little lower liquidity here just got hit too. So unfortunately, we're not going to have that liquidity push. This would have been perfect too. I hate when this happens pre-market. So liquidity just got hit right here. You saw the liquidity marked up, price came down. I was hoping it'd hold for like maybe at least a few more seconds. We got market open in about 20 seconds here. We missed it by just a few seconds, unfortunately. I don't know if anybody took it, but the liquidity there just got knocked out before we even got a chance to get into it. I was already in a trade from a sell earlier this morning. I was applying one of my old strategies for scalping here, and yeah, there we go. So unfortunately, and it's gonna go straight to TP. It looks like, yep. Sorry guys, I wish we would have caught that, but it happened on the pre-market candle right here. And I mean, this is exactly what I was looking for. I did catch a sell though here, so I didn't catch the liquidity, but I took a different trade, applying one of my older strategies. It's going to hit this next level of liquidity, but price is now overextended, so I'd be careful about taking this next level here. If price does come down and touch it, I would just wait. But damn, go figure, man. Yeah, so it looks like Sisu caught it, Rick caught it, Maria caught it, Natasha caught it, Madhu caught it, Kenneth caught it. So it looks like a lot of you guys here still took it, even though it came up pre-market. I was really hoping you would be able to catch that because it looked good. It was a 1 hour liquidity, and there's also a 2 hour liquidity right below it. So 1 hour, 2 hour strong level of liquidity is right there. Price hit it. This next level of liquidity, I'd be a little careful with taking this trade here, because like I mentioned, price is overextended. Wait for it to retrace up a little bit, have it like mess around for a bit, and then come down and hit. It's also a low level liquidity, so I would be careful with this next level. But yeah, CJ caught the trade here also for a partial. So nice work, guys. If you guys caught it, great. If you guys did it, sorry, it happened pre-market, so we couldn't really, it wouldn't count, right? As a open trade, because it happened like right at, like literally seconds before market open. That's the one downside. When price is too close to liquidity, it'll hit it too early, and then it pretty much just knocked out all the stop losses right here. So, and I also have a GU trade that's running right now. I did the same thing, marked up liquidity here on the 15-minute. I'm up 1,067 right now. So I still trade Forex sometimes, guys, but not very often. But you can see my live account right here. This is my forex.com. Yeah, I'm up 1,000 right now on this account. Still running, right? Yeah, you can see my actual account right there, unrealized. And I should probably just close that. There we go. So I locked in about 1,000 off GU. I just let that trade run from last night, just said forget it. No TP, just let it run through. And then I took this trade right here this morning. So I'm just going to take a screenshot to show you guys, the entry right there, and then we'll keep looking. The next level down, the next level of liquidity actually hit with blast right through. I don't know if anybody caught this one. I wouldn't have taken it because price was overextended, but price literally blasted right through the next level of liquidity right there. This market's it's just a little crazy right now because Powell is supposed to speak, guys. I don't want to take anything too risky right now because Powell can say something and price might just spike the other way. So looking over here on the calendar, you can see over here at 6:30 a.m. Federal Chair Powell speaks. So he's speaking right now. So I don't know if he's saying bad stuff about the economy, stuff about the inflation, interest rates, etc. I'm not watching it live, so I don't know exactly what he's saying, but a lot of this movement here could be based off what he's talking about, or just because people are predicting he's going to say stuff that's bad. I'll try to pull it up on YouTube to see. Here, let me just see if I can pull it up right now. So let's go over here and just look at Powell. So he's not exactly speaking yet. I think a lot of people are just predicting that he's going to say a lot of bad things, or market might be manipulated right now, and it's just going to correct back up. So yeah, what I see here is price is probably dropping, and then when Powell speaks, it's going to shoot right back up. So just be careful with your entries, guys. I'll take a screenshot of both of these here just so that you guys have an idea of where all right, so that's the initial one. I'm going to go ahead and mark up, or I'm going to take a screenshot of my profits for the day. Just real quick so that you guys have an idea. I'll just take a screenshot of this one too. Because a lot of you guys like to ask about the previous, and you guys just like having the previous trades documented that come out during the live session. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of that, and then now I'm going to clean it up because it's just a little too messy right now. So the next level of liquidity is going to be down below. But you can see the overextension, right? Price is way overextended now at this point. So I would just sit tight and be careful. And let me just take individual screenshots of my accounts real quick so that you guys can see what I locked in. All right, there's my main account. Here's my second account. I would just be careful right now, guys. I'd probably wait until Powell starts speaking or until the event starts. I got it pulled up over here right now. Let me see if I'll just move it over to this chart. So he's supposed to start, but it hasn't started yet, 6:30. So live Powell, Lagarde, and other central bank governors speak at ECB forum on central banking today at 6:30, but it just hasn't started yet. So we'll check on that because obviously that's going to have a huge impact on the market. And then we'll go from there. But we'll still be looking for entries here. So just give me a second. Let me finish taking a screenshot of my individual profits, and then we will move on to doing an overall analysis of the market. So let me just check real quick. All right, all my FTMOs are the same. I'm just going to screenshot one. So this is going to include the Asia session trade that I took. As you guys know, I'm testing another strategy. Just post these up real quick. All right, so back to the charts. Let me just show you guys real quick what I locked in this morning. So here's my main account. You can see the green strip for the sell, total profit of 3,460, all wins here. This is my trade from last night, Asia session. It was supposed to be 2,000 profit, but I got caught in the spread. I marked it. I think I sent you guys a screenshot. Yeah, price hit my TP. I got caught in the spread. Price came back up. Got caught in the spread. And I just pulled out manually because I don't want to hold on to it. So unfortunately, I only got partial profit on that. But for right now, for the day, I'm currently at 3,460 on my main account. Here is my second account, FTMO copier. Total profit of 3,560. Here's my MFF number one account. Total profit of 1,230. My MFF number two count total profit of 1,230, and my MFF number three count total profit of 1,230 as well. So those are my profits so far. Let's take a look at everyone else's profits as well. Casey's currently at 483 for the day. Nice work, Casey. With that win right there, he took the sell for the liquidity. We have Kenny over here, took the sell as well. Total profit of 3,012 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Kenny. My accounts, and then Kenny took that same trade right there, 3,012. Here's Kenny here at 3,012. And here is Glenn over here, total profit of 1,180. Nice work, Glenn. Yeah, so I made the YouTube stream public today. I typically don't, but today I just made it public for whatever reason. I felt like sharing with you guys. Here's Natasha, total profit of 310 for the day. All wins right there. And her second account, total profit of 1,085 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. She took both of the liquidity pushes right there, pre-market, basically three of them, pre-market, the one right after, and the one at the end right there. So nice work right there, Natasha. And here is Tom. Nice work, Tom. Tom, total profit of 2,770 for the day. Great work, all wins. Yeah, so other than that, let's see. Yeah, Shannon, definitely. All right, we got Kenneth over here, total profit of 440 for the day, all wins. He took a liquidity push as well. And solid profits, guys. All right, so that's it for the profits right now so far. Let's see if Powell started speaking yet. Okay, so they started speaking right now. Lagarde is currently on. Powell's probably going to speak right after, but they're just having a discussion regarding, the economy and whatnot. So, I mean, we'll see how this affects the market. It's going to be very difficult to really predict what they're going to be saying, because Powell's just not going to be talking about the U.S. economy. The entire economy is going to be, basically the major nations are going to be discussing how they plan on proceeding this year, with basically Powell, Lagarde. So basically U.S., Europe, and then a lot of the central banks, all throughout the world. So we'll see. Big in Japan. There's a lot of people here who are speaking. So we'll see. Basically, all the big banks around the world are going to be speaking at this conference. And we just really can't tell, because it's not just about the U.S. today. So Powell might say some good stuff, and then somebody might rebut him with some bad stuff. And, it's just going to be a little bit of a crazy market. So anyways, let's go back to the chart over here. Let me make sure I have everything on real quick. I turned some stuff off because I was applying one of my older strategies. It's just like really quick scalping type strategy. Let's take a look at the calendar real quick, if there was any news this morning. So today's Wednesday, June 28th. There was news at 5:30. It was low impact, not really much. So 5:30 and 7:30, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark this up at 7:30. I'm gonna mark up the news at 5:30. Then I'm also gonna mark up opening price. Opening price was right there. News at 5:30 was right there. Didn't really have much of an effect in the market. So if anything, if Powell says something good, then price might swing back up. Of course, you guys know what target price point would be, opening price up there. So, I mean, we'll see. But I mean, I don't know. I'll take a look at the overall bias for today, and we'll kind of be the judge of that. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment, fundamental bias, short-term technicals, long-term technicals, and we'll see. So I'll mark that up for you guys shortly. This is the clean chart. You know, I try to fix the auto button down here. I think this is the new trading view chart, because whenever I open a new chart, they all come up like this. I'm hoping trading view either gives you the option to go back to the old settings, or I don't know, you fix it somehow. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I had to sneeze. All right, so let's go ahead and mark up opening price over here for the clean chart. All right, so as you guys can see, price is just sitting down there right now. So here's a clean chart, not really too much going on. Price dumped pretty heavily pre-market and then right into open, and then now it's just flat down on the bottom. Not really too much going on. You can see Powell's right here. Basically, top 5 banks here for the ECB forum, and they're all going to be having a discussion. So other than that, let's see. Here's the main chart. Let me go and take a look at the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are currently down 80 points, so they're bearish neutral right now. Fundamentals are bearish neutral. Let's take a look at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 53% short, not very much. It's neutral right now. So we really need this to be one-sided. If this can be one-sided, then great. We can start looking in the opposite direction, but right now, not useful to us. Let's take a look at short-term technicals right here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, and the pivots are angling down. So with that said, we have a bearish bias with regard to short-term technicals. Let's take a look at the higher time frames, 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames here. You can see price is slightly below the pivots on the 30-minute here. It just crossed below. Same with the 1 hour. Trend meter is red on the 30-minute, it's green on the 1 hour, and it's red on the 4 hour. So with that said, we're going to say that it's bearish neutral. So we're basically going to be looking for sells today, it looks like. The bias right now is not super strong, but it is bearish. So we'll probably be looking for sells today. I'll put the V1 variation setup right there, and then also put up the red flags so that you guys know when to avoid the trades. So we're looking for V1 variations over here. There's no double body or double top right here. So unfortunately, no V1 right there. There's also no pending momentum signal. So we need to get that retracement. Once we get that confirmed retracement, then we can possibly start looking for a V1 variation, you know, on this specific chart here. This is going to be the main chart where we're looking for this main strategy. This chart over here with the orange is going to be the liquidity chart. As you can see, price is going back and forth right now. I would just be a little careful with looking for entry here. I don't know what level of liquidity this is, but it's a low level of liquidity. That's why it's red. I didn't mark the time on it specifically. Let me just check real quick. 10-minute liquidity. So yeah, you probably want to be careful with that one there. Yeah, price just blasted right through it. So right here, I wouldn't take a trade yet. I would look for it too, because you can see right there, it's starting to fake out. I don't like these low level liquidities as much. Typically, I like it if price actually has some sort of direction. We do have some sort of direction here, but it's not very strong. So I look for it to possibly retrace a little bit and then get in later, or it already hit actually. Yeah, so if you guys missed the liquidity, it looks like it already hit TP, but it would have been really close. You might have been stuck in this trade because of the spread. So at this point, I would probably just sit it out. If you guys didn't get into it already, if you didn't get in and out of it, I would just wait, because you can see here that this is getting a little tricky. It's starting to fake out a little bit here because I think Powell may be speaking soon, or he might have said something. caused price to kind of drop a little bit. I mean, they're all having something. They're talking about wages right now. So not sure if Powell said something about the wages here in the US and then it just spiked down like really slightly. But it's just a really tricky time to trade because we don't really know what Powell's going to say. At least when he's testifying, we like have an idea, right? Because we know what he's going to talk about regarding the US. But when he's talking at a forum like this, it's difficult because they're all kind of discussing and they're rebutting each other's statements and arguments. So just be careful. I mean, if you guys took the trade here, already hit, looks like I'd probably wait for it. I'm going to leave the liquidity there because if price does come back down a second time, I think it's going to actually blast through. Because you can see that due to the low level liquidity here, it doesn't really have a strong push, right? When it's a high level liquidity, like over here, we had the 1 hour and 2 hour liquidity, price blasted right through because it wiped everybody out. The 10-minute liquidity is not as strong. There's only so many people who trade on the 10-minute who really have high volume at those points. So I'm gonna leave the level there. I think if price pushes down further, actually what I want to happen is I actually want the fake out to happen here. And then I want price to actually get a little lower, like down here. Because the people who are looking to take the trade from down here are now going to be, or whoever try to take the bottom from here. Because now if you mark this up, like if I mark this zone down here, you can see that people are either looking at this as a double bottom fake out, or if price pushes back up, like say, for example, price pushes up slightly, triple bottom, right? They're going to expect this to be a strong support. So when price comes back up slightly and it blasts through, if it gets down to this point down here, then it's just going to stop everybody out, right? So just be a little cautious with the entries here, guys. I mean, price, that's why I'm leaving the level up there just in case it comes back down a third time or a second or third time. Because if it does come down a little lower, that's probably going to be better confirmation for it to drop further. It's just tricky right now. I don't like when there's like high impact conferences or speeches and stuff like this going on because it's hard to tell. So price is pushing back down right there. Let me see real quick. Let's see what the next level is down below. Yeah, I'm just going to sit it out. I was getting it FOMO right now and hop into it, but no, I'm not going to. It's just a little too risky. So there we go. This price comes back down for the second opportunity. And it's going to hit that level right there that I mentioned. And then it comes right back up. So if you guys took the liquidity right there, I mean, if you guys held on to it, you guys got stuck in the spread, you probably should have been pulled out by now. But, as you guys can see, it's not really a smooth move. It's not something that I can personally trust myself. Just by seeing this movement here, I probably would have been a little sketched out taking the trade because it's just, it's just really tricky right now. And I'm just being safe. I think this whole week, I'm just being a little more safer. You can see right there, it's doing exactly what I just mentioned, right? I said if price comes down to this lower area right here, it's going to stop everybody out. And what happened? Price came down for a stop line. Because what happened here was people were identifying this as a support, right? And people thought, okay, to double bottom, price needs to bounce from here. Price came down, stopped them out initially, came back up to basically trick people, and then it came back down to wipe out everybody else who was still holding. So, the main thing here that we're doing is we're doing the opposite of everybody else. Like if I see a double bottom there, I'm going to see that as liquidity. Like if I see a support there and I see liquidity down below, this is going to be an area where I'm looking for price to actually go further and just wipe everybody out. It's kind of similar to what we did yesterday. If you guys remember, Rashida, she was mentioning how like this top area at the end of the live, like towards the end of the live session, Rashida mentioned, this this top point, right? You guys remember this? She was like, oh, this is kind of risky because it's there's an order block right here, right? So what happened was everybody was identifying this as resistance. And I was like, oh, perfect. If you see an order block there, I'm expecting price to break right through. And what happened is price broke right through, stopped everybody out. And if you follow this after the live session, it actually went all the way up here. So it literally stopped everybody out, went on a stop hunt, and it just kept going further and further. So the way that I look at things is completely opposite of everybody else. If everybody's looking for support resistance, I'm looking to see if that support resistance can be a liquidity area. Because like you have a support right there, and you got liquidity down below, it's probably gonna blast right through, but it's just a little tricky because this event's going on. So the thing is, like, I don't want to enter this trade, and then as soon as I enter, it fakes out and then it spikes the opposite way. But my analysis still sits. So as long as there's no manipulation, the analysis will still play out perfectly. So yeah, thanks, Andrew. Andrew said a great analysis, Sean. Hopefully some of you guys made some profit off that. If not, it's completely fine. But I'm going to give you guys my analysis. I'm going to tell you how risky it is and if I feel comfortable with it. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to take the trade. I'm sitting on a decent profit for the day so far. So it's just unnecessary for me to take, risk. That's just, there's no point unless I feel like 100% about the trade, which I don't. So the only trades that I take and the official trades that we call here are the ones that I feel like 1,000% it's going to hit. Like I know for sure it's going to hit. And for this one right here, I wasn't for sure. So I'm not going to give you guys risky trades to get stuck in. Nice. Andrew made 150 points. CJ's asking, was that an overextended V1 at 651? Let's see, 651. Oh yeah, no, possibly. I mean, sorry, I was looking at the double body. It looks like a double, or actually no. So CJ, look at this down here. I think this wick was a little longer. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, there's no double body or double wick. So unfortunately, no. But you're on the right track. You do identify properly. It's just they were on the same level. This would actually be like a V2. So, I mean, you have the gist of it. I haven't really looked at it from a V2 perspective, but from the V1, I think that's the best pattern to identify those, the short-term reversals or short-term pullbacks. But yeah, this would actually be V2 because we have a low here with the red candle. The next one was a strong green candle. And if you took that for like that small low type push, it looks like it would have went straight to TP already. So yeah, no, good eyes, CJ. It's getting close to 7 o'clock. 1 hour trend is bullish, so we don't have an entry here for that 1 hour entry. We need a buy signal. It's currently pending, or we might have the entry. I just don't like that it's going against the bias over here. And it's kind of unusual that only the 1 hour is bullish right now while everything else is bearish. It's kind of weird that that's the only time frame that's bullish right now with the trend meter. Everything else is bearish. 30-minute, 4 hour, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute. Thanks, Kenny. Kenny said Powell is speaking right now. Yeah, so Powell is now on the mic. We definitely want to be careful with any entries when Powell's specifically speaking. But yeah, guys, the 1 hour entry looks like it may be setting up. Again, I don't know if I'll take it because I just don't feel comfortable with taking trades while Powell is speaking. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does start to swing up a little bit because it is overextended. So price is due for at least some retracement. I don't know, Gio and Maddie, what do you think? Are you guys here? Maddie's not, Gion's here. Oh yeah. So Maddie took the day off because he got funded on 2 of his accounts. So he's just chilling for now. Maddie's actually not here today. I don't know. It's just kind of tricky. It's tricky when Powell's speaking. And we'll see. We got about like 4 minutes left. So I'll see how it looks when we get closer to that point. But I don't like taking risky trades. You guys know how I am. So if it doesn't look great, then I'm probably not going to take it. I got to be like set on the trade. Like I got to be convinced that it's going to hit. And if I'm not convinced, then then it's a little tricky. All right, so we got like a support that's kind of setting up right there. This is another thing that I don't like. I don't like when there's a support right there because one of two things will happen. Price will either keep bouncing off it or it'll come back down and retest the support. And that's the worst case scenario here. That price comes down and retests the support. The candle here is a little big too. I mean, I'll follow it. I'll see if maybe I want to take it as we get closer to it at 657. The candle close, or the 1 hour candle closes in about 3 minutes. So I mean, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. C6 said light trading on our side. We talked about this week and next week, since 4th of July is coming up, all FOMC. Yeah, it's just a little tricky. Not even a little tricky, it's a lot of tricky. So you can see here our price is coming back down. This is where it becomes a bit of a risk because price can either come down and retest the support. And if that's the case, you're going to be in some deep drawdown, right? And then if this ends up being liquidity, price can just come down and stop you out. So you're kind of going against your analysis here. I know the strategy is different, but you got conflicting analysis here. So it makes it even more tricky. So let me just clean this up a little bit. But yeah, like I mentioned, it's just conflicting analysis here. The overall bias is bearish. So obviously I want to look for some sells here. So I'm probably gonna hold off on this here for the buy. I don't really like trading the direction against bias. I know that's not a criteria, but I'm just going to leave it alone because overall bias is bearish. This here is going to be for a buy on the 1 hour. Actually, might not even have an entry. Sell signal might come up right here, and this will just pretty much invalidate the entire move. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to touch it. There's no V1s here that have come up yet. We're looking for a V1 variation for a sell. There's not a double body or double wick right there, so nothing that we can take right now specifically. Looking over here on the liquidity chart, let me just back up a little bit. Turn this off. Let's just turn everything else on. All right, so this is where price is currently at. It's pretty far from the next level of liquidity. I mean, not super far, but it is pretty far. Next level of liquidity down below is going to be about 1,400 pips, 1,500 pips actually. So it's not horrible, but yes, it is a little far. From the top side, about the same thing. So no real close liquidity right now. Only thing we can possibly look for would be a V1 variation. So there goes the 1 hour right here. I'm just gonna mark it up. I'm not taking the trade, but I'm gonna mark it up for you guys. Not in this one. If anything, I might get in for a late entry. I'll just keep watching it. If it swings up, maybe I'll get in, but yeah, at the moment, probably not. Yeah, technically it would have been a buy right here. But again, I'll just keep watching it because if anything, price may swing back up. My price might come down, retest this area, the support, and then if it bounces from there, it'll just come right back up and shoot right up to TP, right? So that's going to be something that I'm probably going to look out for. Price does swing back up from there. I just don't want to get caught in drawdown. I was like, worst case scenario, you get caught in the drawdown when you already know price is probably going to come down and retest the support right here. So I didn't get into the trade here. I'm just watching it. This is a 1 hour entry for the other strategy that I'm currently testing. There's no V1 variations here. We're looking at one of the older strategies. So I have this scalping strategy that it's like one of those strategies that's for the more advanced trader that you can pretty much apply all day. It's very similar to kind of what Kevin does. Kevin has 10, 20 trades. There's a lot of trades that come up, trade opportunities. And I was kind of testing it last night because I haven't looked at it in a while. And I mean, it still works well. That was the first trade that I took this morning. That's the one where I locked in 2000. This one right here. I just missed it. I would have taken it right there, but I missed it. That's what I was kind of looking for. Or actually, no, it's still. It still hasn't, or it wouldn't have been filled yet. Yeah, so I've been testing a lot of my old strategies, like a lot like liquidity push. That's one of our old strategies. We're basically forward testing it, but I mean, it's already established. We know how to apply it. I'm just checking to see if there's any other changes that we need. I'm testing like a lot of my very original scalping strategies. It's stuff that I can't really, there's no set requirements for it, but it's a lot of speculative type trading. Which I don't know, I'll talk to Maddie and a couple of the guys. I'll talk basically our think tank. I'll see if it's I'll show it to them. And then if anything, you know, whoever's like the most advanced, we can probably set up a masterclass for that. But I'm not going to explain that to you because I'm getting so many questions about these the 1 hour strategy here, guys. Again, I'm not in this position. This is what I was worried about. Price was going to come back and retest this area. I'm glad we didn't take it. So this is why bias sometimes kind of comes into play. If the bias is very strong for a sell, like right now, everything's bearish, right? Bearish long-term, bearish short-term, bearish fundamentals. Retail sentiment's the only thing that's neutral. When I have a pretty obvious overall bearish bias, I'm not going to take any bias. It just doesn't make any sense for me to take bias. I would take sells instead. But yeah, you know, usually I like to share my strategies with you guys, like stuff that I'm testing and stuff that I'm coming up with. But the problem is that I'm getting so many questions. I'm getting questions, especially from people who aren't even part of the group about these strategies. We're just basically trying to copycat what I'm doing. So I'm not going to share my strategies with you guys anymore. I'll share them once like they're done, but during the testing phase, I'm not going to share them anymore. It's just I get so many DMs, like people who haven't hit me up in like months, if not years, are now hitting me up because they want to learn this 1 hour strategy. Like, bro, you're not even part of the group. You don't have the luxury of asking about a strategy that you can't even apply because you don't have the indicators. So yeah, guys, in the future, I'm not gonna like give you guys any more. Well, so the thing is, I like sharing with you guys because this stuff's like really exciting, right? When you see a new strategy that like works really well, not really a new strategy, but like a variation to something we're already applying. Of course, I want to share it with you guys. But the problem is I keep getting like bugged by like people who are not even in the premium or even in the group. Like that's the main reason why I stopped making the YouTube public, because I just keep getting trolls and I get like way too many, like it's too much work for me. It's work that I shouldn't have to deal with. So yeah, for the 1 hour strategy, guys, I'm not going to be explaining it anymore. I'll show you guys on the chart, but I'm not going to tell you guys how it's done, because I'm still in the process of putting it together. And if I keep getting so many questions about it, like how it's applied, what the requirements, like how things are done, it's counterproductive for me because I'm teaching you something that's not established yet. Or I'm trying not to teach you guys something, but I keep getting the same questions. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a hassle. But I'll show you guys. If I see it here on the chart, I'll show you guys and I'll tell you guys, okay, this is probably gonna be the 1 hour entry, but I'm not gonna, don't bother asking me about the strategy, guys. Because if you guys ask me about the strategy, I'm probably gonna block you, especially if you're not in the group. Because you guys will see my DM. If you guys saw my DMs after 8 o'clock, like once we get off the live session, I get like 50 DMs from like random people like, hey, how does the 1 hour strategy work? Can you explain it to me? I don't understand it. Yeah, because it hasn't been explained yet. So just, you know, keep that in mind, guys. Anyways, there's no entries for us right now. I'm kind of just ranting right now because it just gets, you know, it gets annoying when you got to deal with it. And I'm trying to work on the strategy, but I keep getting a bunch of questions regarding it. Yeah, no, exactly. C68 guys, keep in mind that we all go through our psychology on our personal trades alone. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's counterproductive for everybody because I can't focus on the strategy, do my data research and all that stuff. And then every second I'm like getting the same question. But yeah, there's no liquidity right now, guys, so it's fine. I'm just kind of ranting a little bit, but there's no entries for us, so don't worry, we're not missing out on anything. Main thing that we're looking for here is going to be some V1 variations. We just don't have anything like that yet at the moment specifically. So the trade's still technically running for the 1 hour here, but I'm obviously I'm not taking it. You can see right here, it did pretty much what I said was going to happen, right? See the markup right here? I'm up. I just replayed the arrow that I drew up. It like bounced directly off the support and it came back up. So what I was thinking about doing here is I was thinking about making a late entry. Just let it go into drawdown and then take a late entry, but I'm not going to take it. I'll just follow it, but I'm not going to take it. Technically, the way that the strategy is applied is that you'd have like an extremely wide stop loss. That's why I don't like teaching it yet, because I haven't figured out what the stop loss should be. But yeah, I mean, technically the trade's still running. This is a trade. It'd be massive drawdown, but it'd be back in profit right now. But I'm not in it. So we'll just, yeah. Also, so Jonathan over here mentioned, he said, yeah, when people ask questions about stuff like this, it messes with the live session when people ask, like basically mentorship questions during our live trading hours. So if you guys have any like mentoring questions, just attend the mentoring session. Because right now we're just focusing on just trading. So, just a reminder to everybody. All right, there's nothing for us to take here yet. But yeah, Sisuk, let's get everybody CT here too. CT's not here. But yeah, let's get everybody on a not everybody, but you know what I'm talking about, CC. Let's get like the main think tank in a group, and I'll show you guys and I think this kind of goes hand in hand with your style of trading too. We'll get on a Zoom together, private Zoom, and then I'll show you guys the scalping strategy. Yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to look at it because when I see it on the chart, I kind of want to explain it to you guys, but then again, I don't. Because then again, I'm going to get like a million DMs as soon as I get off of this live session. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, CC for sure. I know it's been a while since we got on a Zoom anyways. Andrew said buyers are reeling in retail. It's now 51. Okay, so looking over here at retail sentiment, guys, it looks like it's like literally neutral because it's at like 50% now. So at the moment, there's just no bias with regard to retail sentiment, which is going to be difficult for us. However, everything else is still lined up. So fundamentals over here are currently down 117 points, 135 actually. Here's something that Powell just mentioned. So Powell says more restriction is coming, including possibility of hikes at consecutive meetings. So very bad for the economy. And if that's the case, price will likely keep dropping further and further down. So with that said, we have a bearish fundamental bias, bearish short-term technicals, long-term technicals. Let's see where it's currently at. It's still bearish neutral. The 1 hour here still hasn't shifted. It still has a green trend meter. So I would be careful taking any trades right now because there's one of two things that'll happen. CNBC just reported that Powell said that there's going to be more restrictions. So this is not good for the economy. This is going to be a problem because if everybody sees this, then everybody's going to sell, right? And if everybody's going to sell, then the market's probably going to do the opposite and stop everybody out. So just be careful with your entries here, guys. I wouldn't necessarily take any sells right now, or I wouldn't take any trades at all because this is just going to be a big area of manipulation right now. Because since Powell he just announced that, now it's kind of like it's a frenzy now because people are going to be looking on both sides. Some people are going to be looking to follow the news, and some people are going to be looking to trade the opposite, like us. We're trying to trade the opposite because we don't want to get caught in that trap that's being set up. So you can see over here on the clean chart, price is just ranging sideways. I mean, eventually price is going to break out. I think this is what might happen. So you guys can see the support down here. what I see that may happen over here is that price will probably fake out. I think this is what might happen. People are going to chase that news that where it says, you know, the economy's not doing so great. It'll come down like this, maybe consolidate, and then pull back into this area and go sideways. Like this is the type of fake out that I see playing out because people are going to start chasing sells. As soon as people start to see this, like I pulled this up and I'm sure a lot of people are not looking at CNBC right now and they're not listening to this right here because not everybody trades it. Not everybody follows news like we do. Some people just wait to see, or what will happen is people will be in a position and then they get stopped out and they're like, well, why did I get stopped out? Then they check the news. And then as soon as they see the news, it's already too late. So yeah, just be careful with this here, guys, because I think this will probably be the fake out scenario. See how price is now dropping? I think price will fake out. Price will probably come down, fake out, and then pull back up, and then go sideways again. So just keep an eye out for the fake out. That's what I would look for. Because the thing is, people aren't going to be buying if, you know, not a lot of people at least, if Powell said some negative stuff about the economy right there. Glenn is asking, does the candlestick patterns on MT4 different compared to TradingView, or is it just him? It kind of depends. Sometimes it is, Glenn, if the market's very volatile, like this morning on open, the candles could have been different. But when the markets are moving normally, then they're usually pretty much the same. They might be slightly different, but for the most part, they're usually around the same. So there we go right there. See that fake out? Price came down a little bit, faked out, pulled right back into the range. It's the same pattern. It's just, you just have to, like, the way that you have to look at the market, you guys have to think about what everybody else is thinking and then do the opposite, right? If everybody's thinking to take sells here, I think price will fake out and swing back up. It's just thinking logically. You don't want to think like everybody else. And the next level of liquidity is like pretty low down there. So what I would recommend right here is to just wait for the news to settle, because the news just got released and Powell is still speaking right now, and he's going to say more things. So I would wait for the news to settle. And then once the news settles, then you can identify the direction of price. Because right now there's just no direction. As you can see, price is kind of just going back and forth. There's nothing here. I think price may swing back up though. So I think eventually price will do something like I think this is what might happen. Well, it's the same thing that I just drew right now. It already faked out right there. I think price will just keep consolidating around this area. It'll consolidate a little bit, come down. I don't know. So look, this is what I think is going to happen. I think a lot of people are going to start to buy because they're going to start to get worried about taking the sells here. So I think price will consolidate a bit. It'll come down. Come back, consolidate a little bit, come down again, like maybe even lower. Come back slightly and then come back up like that. Because they're just looking like, what I see here is I see the market makers looking to trick the retail traders. The thing is, retail traders don't know where to go. They're like, do I follow the news where Powell says the economy's not doing great and take a sell, or do I do the opposite and take the buy? So I mean, what might happen here is we might even, like, if Powell says something in the next couple, like 30 minutes or so, price might even spike both ways. We might just get a random spike both directions to stop everybody out, and then it goes back up. It's just, it's not a safe market to trade in right now. So just be careful. I mean, if you guys have any questions regarding your analysis or anything to look at here, just let me know. But for the most part, there's not really much of a direction that you can bank on, because news says to take a sell, but market makers are probably going to do the opposite and take the buy. Or they'll probably just push price in both directions, stop people out both ways. Just depends on how how everyone perceives the news. So there goes, price kind of bounces up a little bit. I think if price bounces up here, people might try and catch that swing to the upside, but I don't think it'll be very strong. Yeah, C6 City, yeah, this is super advanced. If you're going to trade, it's squeezing super hard. Yeah, price is literally just squeezing down here. So if you guys can't see the squeeze, I can just draw a zone right here. And you guys can see the range just got tighter. So the range was squeezing up here, like without this range. This was the big range. And here's now the tighter range. And here's the even tighter range. It's just squeezing, right? So it went from basically this to this. Now this price is literally just squeezing right down here. And it's gonna have to break out. So I think price will break out either to the top or the bottom. And then when it breaks out, it's gonna pull right back into the range. So it's gonna go right back down to the middle. And then it's gonna do the same thing, the opposite direction, to stop everybody out again. So just be careful with your entries there. The squeeze is just getting tighter and tighter. It's not a good area to be trading in. I mean, you can get lucky, but you could also get very, very unlucky. Let's see, Johnny said V1 at 708. Let's see, 708. So this would be a V1 continuation, Johnny. Yeah, it's not a V1 because there's no pending momentum, but it would be a continuation. I would only take those continuation entries if there's a very, very strong bias. Right now, it's not that strong. It's just bearish or bearish neutral. But if everything was bearish, like say retail sentiment was bearish, fundamentals were bearish, technicals were bearish, then I would take the continuation. There we go with that breakout I was just telling you guys about. So news was negative, but you can see the market makers push price up to stop everybody out. So it basically stopped everybody out right here. This big candle. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes right back down to this area here. I'll leave that zone up so that you guys can see. But if price comes back into this area right here, this range, like there's no surprise. We already anticipated that. But there goes a breakout out of the squeeze. See how far it pushed up. It's not even that far. It's about like 20 pips or 20 points. So 200 pips. And now it's kind of just going up. So again, the entry right here for the 1 hour, I think it just hit. No, it barely made it back into profit. It hasn't hit yet, but it's back in profit. It's probably going to come and hit its TP right there. So this is the 1 hour entry that we marked up earlier. As I mentioned, we don't have a set stop loss yet. So I kind of just use a really, really wide stop loss just to test it out. And then I need to figure out like what the stop loss should be. And there you go. The 1 hour entry just hit full TP. I didn't take it. I was planning on entering it late, but I didn't put the buy stop there. I had a feeling this is probably going to happen though, but it's all good. It's all good. Price is now swinging back up. We'll see if it comes back down, but there's just, again, it's really unpredictable what the market will do. Yeah, C6 said, oh, the speaker just tried to fool them into admitting a rate hike in July. Yeah, so they're talking about rate hikes right now. So I'm assuming once they heard that, like people who trade the news, they probably try to take the sell because like, oh, rate hikes, price has to drop. And then price ended up doing the opposite and stopped everybody out. Yeah, that's the trickiness with trading during news conferences and news events like that, because these patterns here are going to be very irregular. So even these V1 variations, we can get like a double body or a double wick. And then what could happen is one of the speakers can say something and price can just do whatever it wants. So that's why you want to be a little careful with these here. We'll see. Pablo said, day done. Thanks, Sean. Definitely, Pablo. Good seeing you here today. So we'll see you back here to tomorrow morning. All right, 7:21. We still got a lot of time till 8, guys. So don't worry. If you guys haven't taken anything yet, I'm still looking for stuff here, but there's just nothing for us to take here right now specifically. Obviously price is kind of just going back and forth at the moment. So you can see over here, price faked out. And it looks like it's going to pull right back into the range. We'll see if it does. Like my target price point is just going to be a return to the range here. That's basically where I see price going. C6 hit, everyone got stopped out on that stop line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll see if it pulls back in. And I mean, it's pretty much doing what we anticipated. Faked out right there. So it basically spiked up, stopped everybody out. Whoever chased the buys right there. So this is the problem with trading breakouts, is that people will chase the breakout. They'll see this breakout right here and they'll chase it and they get faked out right there and it comes right back into the range. So this pattern has been repeating itself over and over and over again. Like we've seen this almost at least a couple times a week, where price will break out of a range, fake out, come right back into the range. And then what happens here is people will take the sell and price will just go right back up, right? Because they got stopped out right here. And like, okay, price is probably coming back into the range. They take the sell, price goes back up, they get stopped out a second time. And it's just the ongoing process of getting stopped out. So yeah, just be careful with it. Be patient with it. I mean, your opportunities will come up, guys. It's just a matter of waiting for these opportunities to actually present themselves. I'm looking for an intro here for the other scalp strategy that I was just telling you guys about. I'm not going to tell you what the requirements are, but we will. There we go. So see what happened? It did exactly, like literally exactly what I just told you guys was going to happen. It came right back into the range. So I only say this because I see this pattern play out like all the time, guys. It's not something new. Like this pattern here, I wouldn't be surprised if price comes back down and just drops even further. So we'll see. Yeah, the candle right here is pretty big. It's a high level momentum scalp, but the candle is pretty huge compared to what we would like specifically. But I think price will continue dropping. So I think now price will probably drop past the it's probably going to try to break through the support right here. Because now if you look at this way, so like now that we have that drawn up, this is now going to be identified as a triple or quadruple bottom, right? Quadruple test. So I think now price will actually blast through and try to stop them out. As you can see right there where it's bouncing off, I think this is another fake out. It's going to fake out as a quadruple bottom. And it's actually going to break through and stop everybody out even lower. So we'll see. See where this ends up falling down to. So I'd probably be looking for a small retracement and looking for an entry on here. So the way that the strategy that I was mentioning right here that was an advanced way of scalping is I look for a direction of price, look for a retracement, and I get in at a whole number, basically at the 10. Retracement hasn't really happened yet, but it's getting there. 25. Yeah, I think I might have to retrace a little more. Yeah, Rick said I would have gotten slaughtered today. I was such a predictable retail trader. Then I met Sean and the world of trading changed. Yeah, the thing with trading, guys, is that you just have to think of, like, you have to think logically. I feel like nobody thinks logically. Everybody trades kind of emotionally. And that's kind of what screws people up because they just trade off emotions. And you kind of want to trade off their emotions. You want to kind of think what people are thinking to do and then do the opposite, of course. So I think price will probably drop 100 pips right here. Yep, hit my TP, perfect. So there's a scalp strategy. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I did there, but I took it full TP, made 1,260 right there. Basically, I had momentum here, I had the trend down below, saw the retracement. I entered at the whole number here, 30, boom, full TP. So I just explained to you my strategy in like 5 seconds. I'm not going to explain it again. Don't ask me. But I had a feeling, and it lined up with my analysis over here. So don't ask me about that strategy, guys. I'm going to go over this with like my main guys, and then we'll discuss if this is something I want to teach you guys. But it's a super simple strategy. I already know the direction of the sell. We had a bias for a sell. I saw the retracement right here. It was at a whole number, drop down for 100 pips, full TP. But yeah, don't ask me, ask Sisu. Sisu will help you with that. That was nice. Smooth push. You can take a screenshot of my profits. Yeah, that was great. Awesome. Man, it's crazy how like a lot of these old strategies, because a lot of these strategies that I created, this was like one of my main strategies that that I used to apply. This is before I would trade with you guys live, because it's hard to trade it when I'm getting like a million questions here in the on the lives. And for this CSUP, I only take it per momentum. So right here we have a sell momentum. I don't take anymore. I wait for another sell momentum to come up, and then that's my opportunity to catch that little inconsistency in the market. So here is my here, I'll just take a screenshot so that you guys have an idea, but I'm not going to explain it to you guys yet. I think CSUP will be like the main decider of fact here, because CSUP's a good person to like, he'll know if people can learn this or not. And I'll run it by him. I'll see if there's something that, but if anything, this will be only for the advanced traders. It's not going to be for beginners, because you actually have to know how to read price action. Like basically I could do this without the indicators, but it gives you guys the opportunity to look at momentum in that direction. But let me just show you guys real quick. So quick scalp profit on live using my old momentum trend analysis. So I don't have a name for it, but before, when I used to scalp a lot, because I would scalp on the charts all day. This strategy can be used pretty much all throughout the New York session. But yeah, let me just send a screenshot of that there. Powell's still speaking. So I'll give you guys hints of like what I'm doing, but I'm not necessarily going to teach you guys this specifically, because I don't want you guys to get, because I know once you guys learn how to do this, you're just going to want to like take every single trade. And that's typically what blows people's accounts. It's over trading. And this strategy is a perfect recipe for over trading, because there's so many opportunities that come up. So let me just show you guys, or let me just screenshot my profits real quick. Yeah, that was perfect. See, so he just went straight through, just like we kind of anticipated. The whole numbers is a concept that a lot of futures traders apply. So the thing with this is that, and the crazy thing is that I saw another trader applying this, like a hedge fund trader, and I was like, hey, that looks like my own strategy. So I was testing it all night last night, and I was like, this is literally my strategy that I used to apply a long time ago. Like, it was back when I didn't know what I was doing, but now I know what I'm doing because I have the indicators to kind of point me in the direction. Because I used to do it without the indicators and I would lose trades. Now I understand that the indicators help me identify the direction. But yeah, my accounts are sitting pretty nice, especially after yesterday. I didn't take any trades yesterday, so it's always good coming back and taking more trades the following day to cover that. All right, we had news right here. I think it was oil inventories. I'm gonna go and mark that up as news. But none of these trades are going to count for today, guys. So the trades that aren't official, they're not counting. They're just trades that I'm taking myself. They're all speculation. I mean, not necessarily full speculation, but they're entries that you guys obviously couldn't copy because I didn't tell you to take them. Except Sisu, because he knows what I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. CJ said, I always say the old strategies still go hard. Yeah, you guys can apply any of the old strategies and they still work perfectly fine. And the reason why I send you guys my profits here is to show you guys the transparency. Like I'm not bullshitting, right? I'm telling you guys, oh, I took that trade there and I made profit. So I was like, okay, I took the trade there. I explained to you what I did there. It's a little more complicated than the other strategies, but I showed you what I did there. And you can see here that I actually took the trade. So I show you guys profits here, not to show off. This is to show you guys the transparency that, like, when I say I'm going to take a trade and I mark it up and I say I'm looking for that and I actually take it, you can't fake this, right? A lot of people fake the profits, but you can't fake live analysis, screenshot of the analysis, and profits immediately right after. I can't Photoshop this within like 10 seconds. This is like a real trade that I took there. So yeah, here are my profits for the day so far. This is my main account with the green strips, total profit of 5,720. Here is my second account, same trade that I took right there, some slippage, of course, total profit of 5,120. Here is my MFF number one, total profit of 1,710, same trade I took there, timestamps right there. Second MFF, 1,710, and my third MFF right here, 1,710 as well. So, yeah, if anything in the future, if Sisu thinks that this is a good strategy that I should be teaching to like our more advanced traders, this is something that I might do in person. I don't think I'll do this online. We'll probably get together and I'll teach you guys this in person because we're probably gonna have to trade like throughout the entire New York session. So we probably have to get together. I'll like get some office space and then we'll just literally sit together for the entire New York session so that we can do it live, because this strategy can pretty much be applied throughout the entire session. It's not like a 6:30 to 8, it's a 6:30 to 12, and you got to be dialed into your charts between that time. So we'll I'll think about it and I'll let you guys know. But it's more of an advanced way of trading. It's like it requires a lot of focus and you have to really know what to look for. So we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, guys, unfortunately, there's just not anything for us to take here on our official entries. We're looking for V1 variations here. I'm still looking for a double body or double wick. We don't have anything here yet. We have a pending buy signal. So if we do get one here, it can possibly line up. The only problem is that it's going to be right at this pink line, which is too close to price right now. So it's just way too close to price. Again, this is going to be a red flag. So if you guys see the red flags right here, this is when to avoid trades, when price is near sessions, which is going to be the purple, red, and green lines. When price is near opening price, which is going to be the blue line. And when price is near news price, which is going to be the pink line. So basically any of these horizontal lines that go left to right, you don't want to trade around those areas because you can see when price gets around those areas right there, it gets heavily manipulated. So the main thing here that you guys should be focused on is not losing trades, right? So that's why I have red flags there, when to avoid that, because this is area manipulation. I don't know, some people don't believe in manipulation, but if you've been trading long enough, you'll understand that manipulation does happen from time to time. Sometimes it's not random, sometimes it's anticipated, like this over here, or any of these lines. So we're just anticipating it. We're not necessarily saying it's going to happen, but we are anticipating some sort of manipulation around those red flags. There's no liquidity nearby. Here's the clean chart. Price just keeps bouncing off this area. It's just stuck within this range right now specifically. It's not really too much here to look at per se. I'm going to go ahead and just update these zones right here. Yeah, I mean, price is just ranging, as you guys can see, nothing's going on. It's going sideways. Here is the 1 hour chart. Looks like Maddie's here. Maddie just woke up. You missed the entry earlier, Maddie. Well, we'll talk later. I think you guys are seeing. That's my text messages, guys, not trades. All right, so there's nothing for us right now. If there's any questions that you guys have regarding any of these strategies right now, just let me know. But other than that, price isn't really doing too much. It's just going sideways. There's no double top, there's no double body or double wick. But so there's no V1 variations at all. And they're still talking right now at the forum. So I think right now people are just kind of like, they're kind of hesitant to take any trades. So I mean, that's why the market's not really doing much. It's just going back and forth. I think a lot of people are just waiting for them to be done speaking. And then at that point, it'll probably start moving. Because here's a clean chart. This is the chart with like little to no markups. You can see right there that nothing's really happening. Yeah, FFS said US30 is not moving at all compared to SPX and NAS. Yeah, it's just pretty flat right now. Let's check NQ. Yeah, NQ is moving. The thing with NQ is that it's a different type of index. It's all like the tech stocks, and there's a lot of tech news going on right now. If you look on CNBC, like this one over here says NVIDIA's chips fuel AI. So I think NVIDIA might be, actually it's negative right now, surprisingly. And it says, here's why US worries about China's access. Yeah. So a lot of the tech stuff is kind of moving right now. So that's why NQ is moving at the moment. I forgot what S&P is. Yes. Yeah, S&P is moving too. Because the thing with S&P is that it's 500 stocks. It's a 500 stock index. There's more stocks here that can push price up. The difference with YM US30 is that it's just 30 stocks. So if none of those stocks are moving, then there's just not going to be much movement. So main difference there. Let's see. C6 said, OMG, I can literally imagine Governor Bailey saying, please make sure the peasants do not touch me. Which one is Bailey? Let's see. Oh, this guy right here. Okay. I mean, he looks like he'd be Bailey. I mean, you kind of tell who's who. US, the guy on the left is Japan. Person in the middle is Europe, ECB. The guy next to her is going to be UK, and I don't know who the girl is on the right. All right, so nothing's happening here. As you can see, US30 just going sideways. Nothing for us to really take at the moment. It's like a straight sideways move. All right, let's take a look at everyone else's profits. So we have Maria over here. Maria said, today I'm very anxious because of personal problems. So it reflected in my trading, better close MT4. Yeah, so Maria over here, she said that she has like, personal issues that are just bothering her right now. And her trade psychology is just not on point. So she's not letting her trades run to full TP. Typically, she'll have green strips here because she lets them run to full TP. But today, she's been closing them early, total profit of 291. So your profits are good, but the good thing about what Maria just mentioned here is that she's deciding to turn off her MT4 because she knows that it's becoming an issue, right? So smart move right there, Maria. I 100% agree with you. And yeah, I mean, if that's the case, this is like one thing. If your trade psychology starts to get messed up for whatever reason, if something's bothering you, not even about trading, something in life or anything like that, any personal problems, just stop trading. Because if you trade off emotion, that's where you start to make a lot of mistakes. So I agree with you, Maria. It's probably best that you can stay on the live session, but just close out your MT4 so that you don't make any bad decisions with your trade psychology kind of like, all over the place. So, all right, let's see. Vince said V1 at 740. Yeah, I was looking at that right there, Vincent, as well, but it was too like price was just going sideways. So Vincent over here is talking about this V1 variation that came up. I saw it come up too, But you see how price was just going sideways right here? It just didn't look good at all because price is pretty much ranging. One of the red flags is to avoid when price is ranging, right? So that was one of the reasons why I wouldn't have taken it. But yeah, Vince did identify that properly. It was technically a V1 variation. However, one of the red flags was still kind of present. So not one that I would necessarily be okay with taking. But it looks like, yeah, I did hit CP right there. It's kind of a bulky move too. It's not necessarily too good of a move. It's kind of just like all over the place. So yeah, that was a V1 right there, but not one I would take because it still falls under one of the red flags of ranging price, unfortunately. All right, so it's 7:43 right now. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. There's just nothing for us to take here. I wish price is moving today. I figured price would probably be moving a little more since it's Wednesday, but it's not really moving too much. We have a couple more profits over here from the group. Let's see. We've got Nathan over here. Nathan said done for the day. He took the sell earlier this morning for that liquidity push, total profit of 920 with a full TP right there. He hit the green strip. So nice work right there, Nathan. Solid profits. Yeah, just keep stacking. I mean, if you guys just want to take one trade a day, look for that one solid entry, take it, and then just be done for the day. Yeah, Casey said, thanks for the info. Yeah, no, sometimes I just go on a rant. Andrew over here said missed liquidity, but it looks good on the analysis. So yeah, Andrew over here missed the first liquidity. He took the next trade over here, hit the full TP with the green strip. Total profit of 1,520 for the day. Nice work, Andrew. Yeah, great work, guys. All right, still nothing going on here. I mean, you can't really see it too much here because there's so much on this chart, but if you go to the clean chart where I have it marked up here, you guys can see the range that I drew up. It hasn't really gone anywhere. It's still, I mean, it's literally still going sideways. Yeah, Shannon said, I appreciate that, Maria. My week has been off and I'm not trading, but learning self-control and good decision making. Yeah, no, definitely, guys. That's the key thing. I talked to a couple old traders that were in the group before, the same people asking me about the 1 hour strategy. They were, they came to a consensus that like they started trading with me and they liked the way that we traded, but they didn't like the negative risk to reward. They ended up trading with other groups and they did even worse. So now they're back in the group and they're like, I should have just listened because this is their trading style that they fall in line with, and they just need to follow directions. Because if they follow directions, they would have done great instead of bouncing from group to group. So yeah, guys, if my trading style works for you guys, I want to help you guys out as much as possible, but you guys do have to pay attention and you guys do have to follow directions. Because if not, it's just never going to align. Let's see, Barty said missed a couple liquidity, but he caught the one on gold. He caught the one and then another one on gold. Yeah, definitely. Oh, he caught the US30 one. Gotcha. Yeah, nice work, Barty. Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to post your profits. I just saw you post your profits right here. So Barty over here just sent his profits in. Total profit of 517 for the day. Nice work, Barty. Yeah, I took a couple of gold trades. The US30 trade we took here for liquidity. So total profit of 517 for the day. Nice work, Barty. All right, so there's still nothing going on here. If there's any questions that you guys have, typically we don't want to answer questions during these live sessions, but today there's not really much that we can work with. So if you guys do have any questions, pop into the chat. I'll help you guys out with whatever you need help with, and then we'll go from there. Let's see if there's anything else here. Another scale might be available here, possibly. No. Maybe for a later entry. Price does come back down. Entry actually would have been better from up here. 40. Let's see. Yeah, there's just isn't much two direction here. I was trying to look for another scalp entry for that. The other one that I was showing you guys earlier, or just talking about. But you need actual direction in price. Right now, there's not really much direction in price, so it's kind of hard for me to look for anything here. The 1 hour entry over here, there's no buy signal, so it doesn't look like we're gonna have anything there. This is a clean chart. You can see prices just ranging sideways. And not really too much to work with. Here's the chart of liquidity. Nothing here again. I mean, there's just nothing. There's not too much going on here, guys. As much. Price it just keeps going sideways from where it's currently at. Let's see. Johnny's asking. See Johnny's question. Johnny's asking, is gold good to trade also at this time? I do. If so, do recommend any index to also look at. I mean, gold is a very volatile, but it's a very manipulative asset, Johnny. So gold can pretty much be traded all day. I mean, obviously, it's best when trading during New York session. Any other indexes that you could trade during this time would be any of the US indexes. So it'd be S&P, which would be ES, and NQ, which should be NASDAQ. So, I mean, you could look at any of those, but I would recommend just sticking to one and just that one. Because the thing is, like, they all move differently. So you probably would want to stick to like one of the assets or one of the indexes or one of anything really, and just, master that. Because the thing is, if you trade, like the thing with gold is that, like, I don't know anybody that really likes gold that much. Like gold is, it's a love-hate relationship. Everybody that I know who trades gold, it's either they really like it or they really hate it, or they're in between, but they really hate it. Because gold is like, it's trickier. It's not as smooth as, it's not as predictable as like US30. Because a lot of stuff is based off, I mean, gold is kind of like, it's hedged against a lot of things. So yeah, if you want to look at gold during New York session, you can. I mean, people trade gold from London up until New York, but it's pretty much volatile like throughout the day. Because it, like I mentioned, it's hedged against so many things that like, it's just always moving. Like it's hedged against the US dollar, it's hedged against the yen, it's hedged against everything, literally. And that's what makes it tricky, because like if there's US news, it's going to affect it. If there's Japanese news, it's going to affect it. If there's European news, it's going to affect it. It's going to affect it either way. So that's why I personally don't like trading it very much. All right, so I didn't like take anything here. I was just watching to see price was going to come back down, but it didn't really come down too much. All right, 751 right now. So, I mean, we'll see where this ends up falling through to. But let's see. All right, let me see if there's anything else here that we can look at. I mean, there's just nothing for us to take right now. Looks like the short-term trend is starting to shift a little bit. So it's going to be like bearish neutral now. Price is like in between. So there really isn't much of a direction here. You can see the trend meter down here is starting to turn green, but I mean, there's no V1 variations anywhere. The overall bias here is still kind of mixed. So short-term technicals are now bearish neutral. What else? The trend meter is turning back to red, so it might be back to bearish, but we'll see. See if I can maybe go back to the clean chart. So as you can see, price is just bouncing around the range. I mean, if anything, price is trying to go back to that bottom range right there, but it rejected off the top range, and now it's just coming back down, and it's now just ranging sideways. Nice. Yeah, Shannon says she loves gold. I mean, yeah, she's one of the people that actually loves gold. But you know, like I mentioned, it's like love-hate for a lot of people. Let's see. Get into something here. Got into it. To close on other accounts. All right, so I took one more here, guys. The same scalping strategy that I was mentioning earlier. I closed out early though, so I only locked in partial profit. And I got caught in some slippage. I should have just held on to it. So that thing that I drew up earlier, I had a markup right here. It's not there anymore because I didn't. Okay, so this markup right here that I drew for you guys, I saw price pulling up right here, and I was looking to take an entry for a sell. I ended up taking it when it retraced up a little bit super heavy, and I should have just held on to it because it went straight to TP, but I just closed out for a small profit because it was kind of just sitting flat around that area. Again, this is not one that I'm going to teach you guys right now necessarily. I had to cover it with the guys first to see if it's something that can be taught, because it's a very advanced way of trading. It's kind of similar to the way that Kevin trades. I don't know if Kevin's on here enough. Is Kevin on here? Yeah, I don't know if Kevin's on here, but you guys have seen Kevin's profits where like he takes, where's Kevin at? He trades in both directions, but he trades in the direction of current trend. So like, where's Kevin at? Looking at my messages here for Kevin. Yeah, so you'll see Kevin here, he'll take like these little trades and he'll just go for small profits, but it adds up to a lot because he's scalping like pretty much all day. He's kind of doing like this old strategy that I used to teach back then, or yeah, I would kind of teach to certain people. And you can see here, he'll take like a bunch of trades in a direction, but on some days he'll have like a mixed trade. Like sometimes price will be bullish, he'll take buys, price will be bearish, he'll take sells. And that's kind of what I was doing right now. So yeah, no, I was trying, Kevin's here. It was just, I was trying to give him like a little rundown, like what you do, but yeah, we can't really explain what you do because what you do is what you do. What I do is kind of similar too, but yeah, like I'm assuming the way that you trade, Kevin, is like you look for a direction, like the specific direction at that time. And that's why for here, for example, I'll be looking for sells because it's obviously trending down. And then when price is trending up like this, I'd be looking for buys. And then they just shift. So buys, sells, etc. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if this is something that I can teach to people. But I mean, it's teachable. It's just you have to actually know what to look for in the market. You have to know how to read price action. You have to identify direction. You can't be like confused when you're looking for like which way to trade. Anyways, here's some profits here from Patrick. Patrick said market's acting a little funky for me, so he's out. Total profit of 2,079 for the day. Nice work, Patrick. And what I'll do here is I'll just take another screenshot if you guys want to have an idea of like what I took there. I mean, technically the entry would have been, or it should have been taken right there at the whole number. So I'll just mark this up. If you guys want to try and reverse engineer what I did, I mean, you guys can, but I'm not going to, just don't bother asking me about this strategy, guys. Because if you guys ask me about the strategy, I'm just not going to respond because I'm not going to teach you guys something that like, this is like way complicated compared to anything else that I've ever taught you guys. But it's basically just trading. Yeah, exactly. So Kevin said he trades in the direction at a time based on momentum. Yeah. So 100%, whatever, like Kevin's basically doing kind of similar to what I'm doing. I'll take another screenshot of my profits for the day and then we'll wrap it up. It's already 8 o'clock anyways. But this strategy is super lucrative. but you have to be paying attention to it, because if the trade goes opposite of you, you have to pull out early. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people will have problems with. So there is the trade that I took there. Here are my profits. And I'm doing this just for transparency again, so that you guys can see. It's not to show off my profits, because I'm not expecting anybody else to do this, but I just want to show you guys that I took that sell there. There's that one. Yeah. So again, the reason that I'm taking these screenshots, guys, is not to show off my profits. It's to show you guys the transparency, because you can't fake live trading like this. Like, you can fake profits. Like, trust me, I know people who own other trading companies that have told me how they do it. Like, you can literally find like some bootleg broker out there and just white label the broker and pay him some money, like a couple $1,000, and they'll edit your trades for you. So you can just go in, take a losing trade, tell them to take that trade off, and they'll do it for you. But with live trading, you can't do that, because I'm literally showing you guys the trade. I'm like, okay, I took the trade here, and then I'm showing you the markup, and then I'm showing you the profits like within seconds. So you can't fake these. I can't go on like hit the broker real quick and say, hey, can you delete this real quick and change my trade and make it look like a win. It's like literally impossible. But guys, just be careful with who you follow, or like who you guys think is legit, because one of our old members is even on here right now. Let me see. Yeah, one of our old members told me about this guy that he was learning from, and I was like, and he was asking me to see if he was legit, and I was like, bro, because the thing is, my FX book could be manipulated. Like, you can just tell a broker to change your stuff, and I've learned this from like shady trading groups, because I've been trading for like over 10 years now, so I know who's in the trading space. Like, we all kind of know each other to some extent, and we kind of know what certain people do when they scam people in the trading community. So like, if you guys ever want to like figure out if someone's legit or not, watch them trade live. Like, watch them trade live every day, and if they're consistent. So for example, here, I took this trade here that I mentioned. This is a strategy that I haven't really taught you guys. It's one of my very, very old strategies. That's a trade that I took right there. And then within seconds, I just took screenshots of my profits to show you guys the transparency. So this is a trade right there. It has a timestamp. Literally took it at that time, like just a few minutes ago. And this is my profit for the day. This is my main account with the green strips. I had to pull out early because, as I mentioned, I should have just held on to it, but price kind of got flat here for a bit, and I just pulled out manually. So I locked in 1,200 on that trade, total profit of 6,920. This is my main account with the green strips. Here's my copier. Locked in 6,720, all wins here. Here's my MFF, locked in 2,210, all wins there as well. You can see I have like a lot of partial profits around my MFF. And then here's my second MFF, 2,210, and my third MFF, 2,210 as well. So guys, just be careful, because like I've been getting a lot of messages from people asking if like a certain trader is legit. And to be honest, I don't care if they're legit or not, because it has nothing to do with me, right? If you guys want to test out other groups and you guys are really curious if they're legit, I mean, do your own research, right? Have them trade live for you every day. See their back. Like, when someone shows you their track record, see the track record is actual live trading, not from a MyFX book or from screenshots of profits. Like, actually see them analyze, tell them that a trade's going to happen, or like have an idea of something happening, and then have them show profits immediately right after. Don't give them time to Photoshop anything or call the broker to make adjustments or stuff like that. Like, actually see them do everything live, and that's how you'll know if they're legit or not. But for me personally, guys, don't bother asking me to see if someone's legit, because I'm not going to check. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I just care what we're doing here, and that we're all profiting. So other than that, it's already 8 o'clock. So if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, unfortunately, there wasn't really too many entries for today. I was basically applying some of my older strategies. Like a lot of my profits here are not from the strategies because there's no entries that came up. We were looking for V1 variations. There was only one V1 variation that came up right here that I think Vince identified, but it wasn't one that I would take because it was just market was going sideways. So there was only one technical, like there's only one official entry that would have came up that we would have possibly have taken. But since price was going sideways right here, that was one of the red flags when to avoid a trade. When to avoid trades when price is ranging, which is exactly what was happening there. So I wouldn't have told you guys to take the trade there because I didn't think it was a safe one. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much here that we could have taken. I mean, aside from the liquidity this morning, a lot of you guys did take the liquidity, so you guys did make profit off it. Yeah, a lot of you guys did take the liquidity this morning. There was 2 opportunities for liquidity, but I didn't take the trade, so I don't have any liquidity profits to show you guys. So there was 2 liquidity entries that came up, one pre-market, this one right here that happened after, and then one V1 here that we didn't really look at or even decide to take as price was ranging. Other than that, there wasn't really too much for us to take here. So unfortunately, today was just one of those days where there weren't too many opportunities. Hopefully tomorrow we'll pick back up, but we're not going to force anything, especially with all the Fed news. And also next week is 4th of July, guys. We're here in the US. I don't know if the market's open on Monday. It should be. Yeah, so the market is open on Monday, but the market is closed on Tuesday. So we will have our live session on Monday, but we won't be having it on Tuesday because the market's closed, of course. It's 4th of July. All right, so let me see if there's anything else here that I need to look at before I get off. CJ said that there was a high low momentum at 1049. Oh, yeah, there was. Right. Yeah, right here. Actually, there might have been 2 of them. This one right here too. CJ, there's actually a couple of high-low momentums. As soon as we stop applying the high-low momentums, that's when they just start coming up even more. Yeah, so there's actually a couple of them. CJ, looks like there was one right here. But it was like right at the session. So I mean, right at the news price. So I don't know if I would have taken that one, but it still would have hit. There's actually a bunch of them that came up. There was a high-low momentum scalp right there. There's a higher high, sell signal broken close past the pivots. Candle's kind of big, but it still would have met criteria. And then there's another one right here, higher high, sell signal. So like as soon as we stop applying the strategy here on the live, a bunch of the entries come up here. Go figure, right? So, like what, what I said before, guys, like if you guys have a strategy that you like, go ahead and continue to apply them because they still work. We just don't apply them because they stopped coming up. So they weren't coming up as often. We want to swap them out with another strategy, which is a V1, which technically does come up a lot more often, but it hasn't been coming up lately because the market has been going sideways. But there was 3 high-low momentum scalps that came up right here for a sell, another sell, and a buy right here, all for the TPs. There's actually another one coming up right here. Again, it's not one I would take because it's after 8 o'clock, but if you guys do want to take it, it looks like it actually, never mind, it didn't close above. So no entry right there. Yeah, exactly. CJ said that's what I was saying the other day when I told you they've been popping up all week when we stopped focusing on them. Yeah. It's all good. We just got to stick to what's there. We got Maddie over here, total profit of 1,950 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Maddie. Maddie woke up late, but he still made it in time to lock in some profits as we got close to the end of the week. Yeah, Kevin over here also mentioned that he knows how to read price action. Exactly. That's going to be necessary with those there for applying that specific strategy. Here's CSUK. So CSUK's first account, total profit of 1,750, all wins. We have CSUK's second account, total profit of 6,139 for the day, all wins as well. And we have CSUK's third account over here, total profit of 3,050. Nice work, guys. Yeah, so solid work right there, guys. I think I sent all this stuff over already. Actually, I gotta copy these over real quick. So yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to email me. You guys can email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. Otherwise, your fastest way of communication with me is going to be through Telegram. So make sure that you guys add me on there too. One thing too, guys, there was a person yesterday that mentioned it. Just a reminder, I'm never going to message you first, right? So just keep that in mind. I'm never going to message you first, and I'm never going to ask you for Zelle payments or Bitcoin or USDT or anything really. I'm never going to message you guys. It's not that I don't want to talk to you guys. It's just that I'll never message you first. So like if someone messages you and asks you for money or payment or tells you that something's down, nothing's down. Just go to the website. Don't ever send money to anybody online, especially not through Zelle, because you can't charge that stuff back, or PayPal. So just keep that in mind, guys. And other than that, I think that's it. It's 8:08 right now. It's past our live trading session hours. So if there's any questions, guys, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow for the next live session as we continue on with this trading week. So other than that, guys, I'll see you guys